Hello dear friends, good morning. In previous video, we have started for one of the important fish disease, that is Gyroductylosis. Dear friends, we have seen some of the important points regarding the Gyroductylosis, that is of the symptom as well as the structure of causing organism, that is Gyroductylus. Today we are going to see the remaining part of that disease, that is the life cycle and treatment. Life cycle of Gyroductylus as well as their treatment. Dear friends, as we know that this Gyroductylus is a ectoparasite which is found into the skin of the fishes, and it damages the tissue of the skin and it makes a wound, and that damage may be responsible for further type of infection. And when the infection of this monogenic trematode, you know very well this Gyroductylus is a monogenic trematode, and it requires why it is monogenic, because it requires only one host to complete its life cycle. So this monogenic trematode Gyroductylus affect the skin surface of the host, that is fishes, and damage the skin, and when it is severe, at that time fish will or fish may die. So this is a very serious type of disease found into the number of freshwater as well as the marine water fishes. There are several type of the species are there. Just we have seen in earlier lecture, and we also seen some of the important symptoms of that Gyroductylus. Dear friends, when we start with the life cycle, each type of the worm is having a little bit of the life cycle. Here this Gyroductylus is having a very particular type of life cycle. Its life cycle is not lengthy, it is a short life cycle, but it is having somewhat different type of the phenomena. Here we have seen that this organism, this ectoparasite monogenic trematode, is a viviparous. So when it is a viviparous, ultimately it means that it gives a directly birth to the young one. So this Gyroductylus is a viviparous, and it is a hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite means here both the sexes are present in a same individual, same organism. At that time, that is known as the hermaphrodite. Otherwise, the male individual is separate and female individual is separate. But in this Gyroductylus, the male gonads as well as the female gonads, male reproductive system and the female reproductive system is present in the same animal, same organism, same parasite. Therefore, it is known as the viviparous. So this the adult parasite contains the embryo, and this embryo, when you see about the structure of the embryo, dear friends, this Gyroductylus is having a very different type of the development or the life cycle. As it is viviparous, therefore it has the embryo. A embryo is developed inside the mature type of the parasite, and in this case, in this Gyroductylus, here that is having a mature embryo inside that embryo also. That means itself one parasite is having the one embryo, and this embryo, that is one mature embryo. Keep in mind that this parasite is having an embryo, and that embryo is a mature embryo, and this mature embryo is also possessing its own type of the embryo. That means from a single type of the parasite, this can have the two developing embryo within a single type of parasite. So this is a particular phenomena, and that is not happening into the dactyloviruses. it is we are seeing about the Gyroductylus. So this is the one particular characteristic of Gyroductylus. Dear friends, we have seen that the structure, little bit of structure, fluke has well developed type of alimentary canal, digestive system. It is having the pharynx as well as the esophagus. That the pharynx is muscular, intestine is there, which is having a branch structure, and that branch structure may opens into the excretory vesicles. This you have seen that you can identify this Gyroductylus from Dactylogyrus by the presence of the eyes. Here eyes are not present, eyes are absent in case of Gyroductylus. And you know very well these are the parasite. Ultimately it has provided with a certain type of instrument, a certain type of facility to attach to the host animal. As the name indicated, it is a parasite. That means it is taking a ready-made food from the host animal. Therefore, it will require a special type of organ. And in this Gyroductylus also, at the posterior end, you have been seen the figure. Here, just wait a minute. So, when you see the figure, this is a figure. At the posterior side of this organism, parasite, a large well-developed structure is there, a rounded well-developed structure is there, that is known as the heptar. With the help of the heptar, it can make attachment to the host organism, host animal, host fish. Therefore, anchors are there, hooks are there, and hooklets are there, and these two large hooks, that is known as anchors, that have been connected with each other with the help of a little bit a plate-like structure. When we see the anterior side of the this parasite, it is having the head gland is there, mouth opening is there, esophagus, a muscular pharynx is there, esophagus is there, and testes and ovaries are there, and it is having the you have seen that in the center it is having the developing embryo. So such type of the structure is found into the Gyroductylus. See here, this side figure is there. This is a highly magnified figure taken by the electronic microscope, and you will find that at the anterior end it has a curved horn-like structure that is having the head glands, and at the posterior side it is having a sucking-like apparatus is there. That sucking-like apparatus is simply nothing but the heptar. Dear friends, when you say about its entire life cycle, you have been seen that the uterus of the embryo contains an embryo which is contain a third embryo. That means at the same time two embryos, mature embryo can form here, and this life cycle will complete from egg to egg at a particular temperature. It will require near about 25 degrees centigrade to the 27 degrees centigrade for its completion of the life cycle. And this life cycle is completed within 54 sorry dear friends, this life cycle is completed within 56 to 54 to 60 hours. A new specimen first give birth to young one, following by each subsequent birth after 18 hours. The eggs develop into the embryo, are ready to born within 36 to 42 hours. That means you have seen that at 25 degrees centigrade, 25, 26, 27 degrees centigrade, here it is completing within a 54 to 60 hours, and the new embryo, the new individuals will form within 18 hours, and here the egg develop into the embryo ready to born with 36 to 42 hours. Dear friends, when we see about the treatment and control of this disease, here this very common treatment is there, that is treatment of the sodium chloride. You have been seen that In number of cases, see here, dear friends, in a majority in number of control of fish diseases, certain common type of treatments are there. That treatments by a particular type of chemicals, and that chemicals is having a broad spectra of their control and treatment. So there are certain type of the chemicals which having a broad spectra, and therefore some of the chemicals can be used into the number of control of number of diseases. What are that common chemicals? These are the simply the sodium chloride or sodium salt. The bath of sodium salt or sodium chloride is given. Near about 2.5% of the solution has to made, and it has give to bath treatment for 1 hour. It is a very simple method, and this can get rid from the parasites. Besides that, another one very simple and common method is there, that is the use of formalin. See here, sodium chloride, the formalin, as well as certain other type of the potassium permanganate. There are certain other type of chemicals which are very common. So for control of this we call as the Gyroductylus, you can use the formalin, chemical name is formaldehyde, at the rate of 250 to 330 mg per liter, and it is to be treated near about half an hour by bath method. That means you have to give a bath of formalin for that infected fishes, and near about 30 minutes. Dear friends, you can also use the potassium permanganate also. So the potassium permanganate, sodium chloride, mebendazole, acetic acid, formalin, these are the some of chemicals by which we can control the infection of this Gyroductylus. See here, Gyroductylus is a trematode. It is a monogenic trematode. It is a very small size trematode. Besides that, the good management and use of particular nutrients help to control of the infection. See here, no doubt management is responsible for everything into the fish farming. Therefore, whenever there is any epidemic of the disease is there, at that time first you have to see the loopholes into the management of that system, that farm. So good management is one of the important method to control the infection. So you have to just manage all the things very well, so there will be no chance for the infection of parasites. Nurseries as well as the rearing pond must be supplied with the good quality of water free from any type of disease. Besides that, when you are just importing some of the fish seeds or some of the brooder fishes, at that time that must be properly treated with the potassium permanganate as well as the sodium salt, and so that so on, to just prevent the further spread and distribution of that parasites. And at the same time, a spawning fish can be freed from the parasite by short bath in a solution of common salt as well as the formalin. So these are some of the important methods, so some of the important chemicals to control the infection of the Gyroductylus. Here we finish about the one of the important disease, Gyrodactylosis. Dear friends, keep in mind that at the time of writing the answer in examination, you should present the causing organism as well as their symptom, as well as the life cycle, and lastly the control as well as the treatment methods. Dear friends, when we see control and treatment methods of various types of fishes, you will find that there are certain types of the chemicals which are commonly repeating into the number of disease. So first of all, you have to just write down some of the very common type of the treatment for the control of that disease. Here we finishes the one of the important fish disease, that is known as the dactylogyrosis, and the causing organism is Dactylogyrus. Thank you very much.